Honor a physician with the honor due to him for the uses that you have of him, for the Lord has created him. For of the Most High comes healing, and he will receive honor of the king. The skill of the physician will lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he will be in admiration. The Lord has created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. Was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? And he has given men skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous works. With such does he heal men, and takes away their pains. Of such does the apothecary make a confection, and of his works there is no end. And from him is peace over all the earth. My son, in your sickness be not negligent, but pray to the Lord, and he will make you whole. Leave off from sin, and order your hands aright, and cleanse your heart from all wickedness. Give a sweet savor, and a memorial of fine flour, and make a fat offering, as not being. Then give place to the physician, for the Lord has created him, and let him not go from you, for you have need of him. There is a time when in their hands there is good success, for they will also pray to the Lord, that he would prosper that which they give for ease and remedy to prolong life. He that sins before his Maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician. My son, let tears fall down over the dead, and begin to lament, as if you have suffered great harm yourself, and then cover his body according to the custom, and neglect not his burial. Weep bitterly, and make great moan, and use lamentation, as he is worthy, and that a day or two, lest you be evil spoken of, and then comfort yourself for your heaviness. For of heaviness comes death, and the heaviness of the heart breaks strength. In affliction also sorrow remains, and the life of the poor is the curse of the heart. Take no heaviness to heart, drive it away, and remember the last end. Forget it not, for there is no turning again. You will not do him good, but hurt yourself. Remember my judgments, for you also will be so. Yesterday for me, and today for you. When the dead is at rest, let his remembrance rest, and be comforted for him, when his spirit is departed from him. The wisdom of a learned man comes by opportunity of leisure, and he that has little business will become wise. How can he get wisdom that holds the plow, and that glories in the goad, that drives oxen, and is occupied in their labors, and whose talk is of bullocks? He gives his mind to make furrows, and is diligent to give the kine fodder. So every carpenter and workmaster that labors night and day, and they that cut and grave seals, and are diligent to make great variety, and give themselves to counterfeit imagery, and watch to finish a work. The smith also sitting by the anvil, and considering the iron work, the vapor of the fire wastes his flesh, and he fights with the heat of the furnace. The noise of the hammer and the anvil is ever in his ears, and his eyes look still upon the pattern of the thing that he makes. He sets his mind to finish his work, and watches to polish it perfectly. So does the potter sitting at his work, and turning the wheel about with his feet, who is always carefully set at his work, and makes all his work by number. He fashions the clay with his arm, and bows down his strength before his feet. He applies himself to let it over, and he is diligent to make clean the furnace. All these trust to their hands, and every one is wise in his work. Without these cannot a city be inhabited, and they will not dwell where they will, nor go up and down. They will not be sought for in public council, nor sit high in the congregation. They will not sit on the judge's seat, nor understand the sentence of judgment. They cannot declare justice and judgment, and they will not be found where parables are spoken. But they will maintain the state of the world, and all their desire is in the work of their craft. But he that gives his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will also be there. He will seek out the secrets of the grave sentences, and be conversant in dark parables. He will serve among great men, and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries, for he has tried the good and the evil among men. He will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him, and will pray before the Most High, and will open his mouth in prayer, and make supplication for his sins. When the great Lord will, he will be filled with the spirit of understanding. He will pour out wise sentences, and give thanks to the Lord in his prayer. He will direct his counsel and knowledge, and in his secrets will he meditate. He will show forth that what he has learned, and will glory in the law of the covenants of the Lord. Many will commend his understanding, and so long as the world endures, it will not be blotted out. His memorial will not depart away, and his name will live from generation to generation. Nations will show forth his wisdom, and the congregation will declare his praise. If he die, he will leave a greater name than 1,000, and if he live, he will increase it. Yet I have more to say, that I have thought upon, for I am filled as the moon at the full. Hearken to me, you holy children, and bud forth as a rose growing by the brook of the field, and give a sweet savor as frankincense, and flourish as a lily, and send forth a smell, and sing a song of praise. Bless the Lord in all his works. Magnify his name, and show forth his praise with the songs of your lips, and with harps, and in praising him you will say after this manner, all the works of the Lord are exceeding good, and whatsoever he commands will be accomplished in due season. And none may say, what is this? Why is that? For at time convenient they will all be sought out. At his commandment the waters stood as a heap, and at the words of his mouth the receptacles of waters. At his commandment is done whatsoever pleases him, and none can hinder when he will save. The works of all flesh are before him, and nothing can be hid from his eyes. He sees from everlasting to everlasting, and there is nothing wonderful before him. A man need not to say, what is this? Why is that? For he has made all things for their uses. His blessing covered the dry land as a river, and watered it as a flood. As he has turned the water into saltness, so will the heathen inherit his wrath. As his ways are plain to the holy, so are they stumbling blocks to the wicked. For the good are good things created from the beginning, so evil things for sinners. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. All these things are good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. There are spirits that are created for vengeance, that in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force, and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, All these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts, and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. They will rejoice in his commandments, and they will be ready upon earth, when need is, and when their time is come, they will not transgress his word. Therefore from the beginning I was resolved, and thought upon these things, and have left them in writing. All the works of the Lord are good, and he will give every needful thing in due season, so that a man cannot say, this is worse than that, for in time they will all be well approved. And therefore praise the Lord with the whole heart and mouth, and bless the name of the Lord.